It's been a while, but here we are with another training video style production podcast. This month is a doozy. We're covering the basics of the Warhammer Online combat system. The combat system is everything that makes your character what they are and defines what they can do in both player versus environment and realm versus realm situations. So sit down and relax, because it's going to get exciting. The combat system is split into 3 parts: actions, tactics, and morale abilities. To simplify things, let's think of your career like a war chariot. Action abilities are the basic, fundamental things that make each chariot work: an axle, wheels, a platform, an engine, etc. From this basic framework, there are many different ways you can build your chariot. Light and fast, with an armory of weapons on board for close combat. Moderately heavy, with both weapons and medical supplies. Extremely light and blazingly quick, with ranged weapons on board for striking from a distance. Or even heavily armored and slow, ready to take tons of damage on the front lines. As you advance your character, you will get regular upgrades to these fundamentals, as well as additions: a stronger axle, sturdier wheels, more protection, better weapons, and so forth and so on. These are all action abilities, the fundamental progression of upgrades every character receives as they advance. Now we come to tactics. Tactics are specific, strategic improvements that enhance your basic abilities. Tactics can be loaded and unloaded depending on what situation you're going to be in during gameplay. To use our chariot example, if you knew you were going to be traveling over a frozen lake, you'd load spikes for your wheels to make sure you have traction. That's a tactic. Alright, enough metaphor. Let's talk about tactics as they really appear in Warhammer Online: Age of Reckoning. There are 3 different categories of tactics: career tactics, renown tactics, and tome tactics. Each one of these serves a specific purpose. Career tactics are general ability upgrades that improve your performance in all aspects of the game. Renown tactics specifically increase your effectiveness in realm versus realm situations, while tome tactics specifically increase your effectiveness in player versus environment situations. At any time, you can have 4 career tactics, 2 renown tactics, and 1 tome tactic loaded and ready to use. Like the chariot, you'll need to load the tactics you think will be most helpful during whatever kind of gameplay you'll be engaged in next. You can load tactics in and out whenever you like, except in the middle of any kind of combat, so it behooves you to plan ahead when loading your tactics. To help out, however, you can have preset loadouts ready to use, so if you've got a set of tactics you know works well, you can load them all together at once. That leads us to morale abilities. If actions are the parts of the cart, and tactics are improvements you can make to the cart, morale abilities are a cannon you can strap onto the back of the cart in order to blow the stuffing out of whoever happens to be bothering you. Morale gives you powerful additional abilities, but there's a catch. Morale abilities only become available when you're in combat. As you fight, your morale builds. Build up enough, and you can start firing off your morale abilities. The longer you stay in combat, the more morale you actually build, and the larger and more impressive the morale abilities you'll be able to use. Morale abilities come in 3 categories: career morale abilities, archetype morale abilities, and racial morale abilities. As you might expect, career morale abilities are specific to your career type. Archetype morale abilities are available to anyone in your archetype, and racial morale abilities can be used by anyone of your same race. Morale abilities are loaded much like tactics, but there's a twist. There are 4 morale slots, and each morale ability you can buy fits only one of those slots. Slot 1 abilities are less powerful, but can obviously be used more often. Slot 4 abilities are devastating, but are only available at longer intervals. So now that we've got you all excited about actions, tactics, and morale, you might be asking when and how your character will receive these wonderful goodies. For actions, each career receives new abilities on the exact same schedule, based on your in-game experience. But different careers receive their actions on different schedules, so a Dwarf Ironbreaker and a Chaos Marauder who are advancing at the same pace will not necessarily receive new action abilities at exactly the same time. In due time, you will receive every action ability available to your career. Tactics and morale abilities, however, work a bit differently. As you gain experience and advance your character, you will also be earning tactic points and morale points. With few exceptions, if you have the points to spend, you can buy whichever tactics or morale abilities you wish, and you'll be able to see all of the tactics and morale abilities available to you over your entire career. Here's the rub, however. There are many more tactics and morale abilities available to you than you will ever have points to purchase. Luckily for you, the game will help you out by organizing your choices into general categories, such as offensive, defensive, support, and so on. It's then up to you to decide what kinds of tactics and morale abilities you want your character to have. That's it for this month. As always, keep your browser pointed towards warhammeronline.com, and we'll see you soon.